अरुणाचल शिवा अरुणाचल शिवा अरुणाचल शिवा अरुणाचल.
So friends, here we are at again at Bhagwan Ramana Satsang. Who knows how things goes, how things unfold, you know. Nobody can plan anything. Things happens in their own way.
Yes.
And when we surrender to whatever happens, we reach the right place. Like, you know, the water, when it goes down, it finds a space for it. It moves, and then finds a place where it has to go and settles there. Same is with us. Like a little river traveling, doing satsangs, doing japa, doing meditation, doing self-inquiry, attending satsang, and then it is a play actually. It's a beautiful play in a sense if we can enjoy sadhana, being a seeker and reaching there, because at the end of the day, we start from where we have to reach. We are already that. But in a way, it's also beautiful to remember that divinity and to be surrounded by that divinity in a satsang, you know. What else would you do? You know, sometimes people think that if it's end of thing, then what else is left? I can give you an example. There was a patient who had a lot of issues, and I spent a lot of time with him, one-to-one, trying to sort out that it will be sorted out and these are not major issues. And after some time, I had success in a sense that he felt that all his problems have disappeared and he's perfectly fine, and he was thankful to me. But the very next day he called me and he abused me. He said, "What will I do now? I have nothing to do. All my life I was busy in this disease and seeing a specialist and doing, what will I do? You have taken away my purpose of life." So, you know, the disease can be a purpose of life. If you see in hospitals, we see patients. I was discussing with one of my colleagues, her husband looks after all these chronic patients, you know, who are in hospital most of the time. Sometimes they spend more time in hospital than at home. And when you look deeper into their problems, there are not any neurological or any medical issues as such, but somehow they create one after the other. And the problem is that we call them frequent flyers. So it is, so purpose of life can be very, very different, you know. To irritate others can be my purpose of life sometimes, you know. To create nuisance can be purpose of life for some people, you know. So what is purpose of life? That is, your mind tells you what is the purpose of life. But if you see, the purpose of life is to quieten this mind. That's all. And if after that you find...
Not only the purpose of life, and you have to be sincere to that purpose of life. Yeah, it will go away. So the sincerity of purpose is more important. You fix up the purpose, right? But you have to be sincere to that purpose, to the core.
Because this purpose will end all our purposes. Because, you know, people can be very passionate about things, that this is what I need to do and, you know, I have to finish off. I met one of the persons in a retreat I was taking last year, and she had I think pancreatic cancer, so which is quite, you know, takes away your life expectancy. And she said, "I just want to leave a legacy before I die." And I said, "What sort of legacy?" She said, "That I have to find out." So, you know, people have so many things about thinking about what needs to be done before we end life. And each to his own. But as Nilakantanji is saying, that we should be sincere about this purpose of life, which is to get rid of this instrument called as mind, which keeps giving one after the other purposes of life, which never ends. And Bhagwan has put so clearly that action leads to more action. Action is not finishing the action. To finish the action, you have to finish the source which is propelling you, which is prompting you to create actions. Now, there is not much at stake when you are trying to know yourself. Only your own restlessness is an obstacle, and restlessness is of the mind. And again getting into this trap of the mind when the thought is coming and it's commenting on how things are going. Even let's talk about the sadhana, even the practice, whatever practice you are doing or not doing. It can give an expert commentary. Your mind can give an expert commentary, while the mind has no clue also. But it is very smart to create obstacle and giving you all sorts of doubts in your mind. Doubts in your mind, but you buy those doubts. That's the problem. If you stay with whatever type of mind it is, because we have to all start whatever mind we have right now. We don't have any choice in that. But one thing we have choice in is not listening to the mind and just paying attention to nothing. Actually, it's not even paying attention to awareness. It is paying attention to nothing. Just leading a life as it comes with the flow, without judging your own thoughts or other people or the situation, but paying attention to that in us which is eternal. When we pay attention to that eternal in us, somehow by the magic, by the mystic, by the grace, blessings of that awareness, there comes this detachment from this impersonal, you can call it, this materialistic thing which we all the time think we are, including the mind. Mind is also part of matter, part of this world. All the objects, including our mind, intelligence, intellect, body, thoughts, feelings, emotions, sensation, everything is part of the matter only. And because we think this matter is us, we think everything around us is also part of us. And then some things we like, some things we dislike. But if you go into this avyakta, which is unmanifested, which is not even our speech, though we use a speech to convey, but speech, we are dependent on this matter only to even speak, even to listen. But there is beyond this listening and speaking. That is what we all are, which is also never involved in anything, which is the source. It is only energy. But because all the time we are in this domain of mind, we don't pay attention to that, which is always there, pure awareness. And that pure awareness never leaves us. Even we sleep, but the awareness doesn't sleep. Awareness never sleeps. Awareness doesn't need sleep. But when we say we sleep as ego. Ego is the one who is thinking he is this body-mind complex. He sleeps, he wakes up, he dreams. He goes through 3 cycles. Some days he is lethargy, other days he has energy. So all these are states of the mind and body. Awareness is always unaffected. Awareness is even, you can say, not interested, not disinterested, just neutral. You know, that's why this neutral emotion is so good, because it's just that what awareness is. They call it udasin bhav, which is like no agitations in the mind, not like jumping with joy or feeling depressed. Just that. So in that, as an awareness, you can even watch when the mind is excited or not excited, or when it is agitated about something or not agitated, because it's an instrument. Because we take ownership of it, that's why we start feeling that whatever is happening in mind is happening to me. But the moment you stay as awareness and you start living as awareness, I'm not saying just to practice in meditation for 1 hour or 1 hour satsang or whatever. You have to live that life. You have to be the living example of awareness. It's not a bookish knowledge. It is not intellectual understanding. You need to live your life as awareness. And to live your life as awareness, you just stay neutral to everything. To all the plans, what your body mind is doing, what other body minds are doing, whether things are being accomplished or not accomplished, or whatever happens, in whatever sense you can take this, whether it's financial, health of the body, relationship with people, whatever it is happening or not happening, you stay as awareness. What it will give you? It will give you contentment. It will give you bliss. It will give you peace. It will give you unending joy. It will create love for everything, because no one is your enemy, because enemies are the people who are against our desires. When you have no desire, then how can we can be an enemy? And then no friends also. Friends, in a sense, what we as materialistic people understand friendship. Friendship is always of purpose, Even loving someone is attachment to someone is also a purpose. So that also goes away, because you don't need anything from anyone, and you don't think anyone can take away anything from you. So everything falls in place. Everything is perfectly normal. And you touch your own bliss, then you can never disturb anyone. And you can never be getting disturbed by anyone. This is the perfect health. If you ask me what is the perfect health.
This our Adi Shankaracharya comes out with very nicely in Upadesha Pachaka. One line is very nice. Audasinyam abhipsyatam janakripa naishturyam asrityatam. So with others, you be udasina. And don't expect any kindness from others. But abandon all harshness towards others. Because you are settled down, there will be no harshness towards others. Even if they are, because your mind is always calm, because audasinya. You are not bothered about what others are commenting, because they can comment only about body, mind, and intellect. They can never comment about me. That kind of confidence should come. Then it's easy to live this too. Very nice sentences. Audasinyam abhipsyatam janakripa naishturyam asrityatam. There are 40 instructions like this. So what you have to do is, there are 5 stanzas, each contain instructions, and you have to take one and practice for 1 week. Then you take the next instruction. So like that, you can do sadhana. So these are a very nice way of doing things.
So look, we get all the support from Vedanta, courtesy Nilakantanji, who knows. He's a walking, encyclopedia of Vedanta. So beautiful. We are so blessed to have his company, So it is so good. So it's like a ready reckoner. We know where it is coming from. And this is the thing. If you see even this word udas, it is being distorted so badly in Hindi. Udas means unhappy. Can you believe this? It's such a beautiful word, which means no emotions. But people, see someone like a saint or sage, people don't like. People say there's no life in him. They think excitement is life. That's why we are after drugs. We are after, rave parties and indulgence, because when the senses are quiet and peaceful and everything is fine, you think it is not excitement. Yes, definitely it's not excitement, but it is peace. It is bliss. Bliss has no sound. There is no need for any, heavy metal for it. But the thing is that this also comes, the same person, the same body-mind complex, which is craving for these things, once it tastes its own bliss, then all the tastes are useless. They are of no use. And you don't run after anything. So Vedanta is very practical. If you see that's why sometimes I think it's at the end of the Vedanta, all this teaching at the end is because first you indulge, you do all these things and do rituals and all, and once you are beyond it, then you want the ultimate, which can satisfy you eternally. And this is what that is, non-duality, Advaitic, that everything, the source is within. You touch the source and you touch the bliss. So the class of satsang or a group of satsangis are the people who really want to eternally indulge in that bliss. So it's not like we are different from the people who are catching up in a bar. They are also looking for happiness. We are also looking for happiness. They are looking at happiness in their own way. We are looking in our own way. So the purpose in both senses are same, but where they are looking and where we are looking is completely 180 degree. And I don't know whether they have a teacher who is teaching them there, but we have a lot of teachers here, we have Bhagwan's grace with us, his teachings with us, his practical teachings which we are practicing. We have Arunachala with us. We have all sorts of supports as, the new plant, the sapling which needs support. But soon when you know your own self, you are on your own support. You don't need any support. And then sometimes meeting people who are into the same awareness is such a bliss, such a beautiful thing, And that becomes like a family of all these eternal beings who are touching their own heart, It is something very divine. We live in this world, we see images, we look around people. Everyone is beautiful from within. But somehow everyone is so busy in their body mind that they don't touch their heart. When you meet someone who is in their heart, who speaks from there, who walks, who lives life from there, or at least if he is practicing, he is trying to live his life from there, it is a bliss. Even just knowing someone, even knowing their name, even catching up with them over the phone, or maybe just knowing about them. I'll tell you one thing which is very sacred is reading the stories of saints and sages, knowing their life story. That's why those stories are also very inspiring. If you see all the diaries written during Bhagwan's time, people who were there with him and their experiences, why they are so good? Because those stories with saints and sages have the same energy, same power. Reading about them, listening to them, it actually evolves us. It raises our vibration. It helps us. And if you see the devotees, in India, the Bhakti Marga, which is the path of devotion, actually became more popular in last few hundred years. Much more popular than Gyan Marga or the path of knowledge. And here, what is there? Always praising the Lord. And that raises your vibration. It is beautiful, actually. Path of devotion is also so beautiful. And a lot of people follow that. Even, in Western world, ISKCON movement came through that only. But if you see, it gives you a different type of energy when you are connected. Whether you are connected by knowledge with your pure presence, or whether you are connected in form of even in duality to the God and love for God. Because at the end of the day, that love will be so deep that nothing will be left as separate God. The joy is within. So there's nothing more to do than to leave company of your mind and take up company of your awareness as your own true nature, as your true being. And for this, you don't have to pay too attention to awareness. More so, don't slip into ego mode. Just stay neutral as you are. In our natural state, we are all pure awareness. Only when we start taking up individual role as individual identity, that is the fall. That is the fall from the grace. Whose grace? Our own grace. Fall from the grace when we start talking as an ego, as an individual, and we create boundaries, and we have this lust, these desires, this selfishness, greed. All this comes when we start thinking as a entity. And this is just this I thought which makes us think like that. But if we stay neutral in that udasin bhav, in that neutral gear is the best, where you don't engage your mind, because we engage our mind all the time, giving tasks to the mind. We don't know what it is life without engaging the mind. But this is when you just, whatever comes and goes, you just accept as if it's just happening by its own. Neither I'm a doer. So if I'm not a doer, then if things are happening, they are happening. Whatever they are happening, we are accepting it. Let's say your desire is to improve things. The body is working on it. But if it happens, it happens. It doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Because whatever good or bad you are doing, it will turn into dust soon. The body, it's just a play. The body is there for some time to do something. And I have full faith in what Bhagwan says, that it's all predestined. So and that actually is very liberating also. Then you stop thinking from mind that I am doing. Whether Bhagwan said this to correct us or whether this is truth, but the most important thing is, if you believe that whatever has to happen, it frees you from your mind forever. Because then your doership goes away. Then you chasing your dreams goes away. Your desires goes away. And then in that desirelessness, you recognize what you are.
There is another nice poem written by Swami Chandrasekhar Bharati. The refrain is very nice. Sakhalabam vyartham marana samaye sambayava sakhaya. At the time of death, whatever you have done, it's of no use but for being with Sat and Chit.
Very true.
Whatever you have done, it's no use. That can be completely understood. But for Sat and Chit, whatever you have done is useless at the time of death. So you can't carry any money, you can't at the time of death. So whatever you are, be as existence principle and the Chit principle.
Very true. And I think this is really important, that morning we wake up till we go to bed, what are we doing? We are acting. We are acting, but we are so serious about acting. Whatever job we do, I'm not saying that we should not do that job properly, but what I'm saying is we get involved as a doer, that I am doing and I am looking for results. Results will come whatever his body is doing. But understanding this very clearly, that at the end of the day, from the moment the body is born and it's dead, whatever it will do, it has done or not done, is going to be dust. Dust, the body will turn into dust. Then whatever the purpose or not purpose the body has done, it doesn't matter. If you want to live life in truth, you have to be in that truth. Truth is in your heart. Stay there and then keep doing what you are doing or not doing. But stay in your heart. Don't slip into the ego mode. If you start living life from there, it will be very, very hard to live life back into that ego mode. Even if you want, you can't do it, because it's so ugly. It is so filthy. It smells. Because see, the whole world, it is all, the reason is because everyone is living their life in that as an individual and competing with others. And what that competition will lead to? Only wars and jealousy and greed. It's not going to give you happiness at all. That envy, that is all coming as individual mode. Staying as awareness, nothing matters. So just stay there. Even when the ego rises, watch the ego rising, but don't go along with it. When something happens and the ego mode drives you mad, mind gives rise to thoughts because of old habits, just watch it. Don't go with it. You lose money, you lose health, you lose whatever, or you gain something. In any circumstances, don't lose your company with your divine, pure bliss. Don't take support from your mind. You know, like we talk about in spirituality, we should not be taking support, not asking people for help. Though if people need help, you can help, but not like, you know, a smart person in this world, they call it LinkedIn connections, and, you know, having connections to gain, to have some mutual benefit sometimes. But if you stay as awareness, and if people want to utilize you, that's okay, but you don't utilize anyone. When you don't utilize anyone, then you are completely independent. You are not dependent on anything. This is really important. Don't be a practical person. Just be a spiritual person. Actually, spiritual people are and practical persons are completely opposite fields. So you can't say that I am spiritual and then you are doing all the stupidity, nonsense in the world, and, you know, trying to cheat people or trying to act smart, you know. That's act smart. That the one which acts smart in us is ego. That has to finish. That has to go. The one which makes you proud of yourself, that has to go. It is not a joke. It is not just a word to say, but keep watching it till it disappears, till it goes away, till you don't buy any tricks, because who helps us to stay in the ego mode is the mind. The mind tells you, do this and you will get benefit, and people will be fooled, and then people will give you, like a very astute businessman. Let it speak out and then do exactly opposite to it. Then it asks you to go here, you go there. Because mind is a servant of that ego entity which thinks it is the body-mind complex. If there is no ego entity left, the mind has no work to do. There is no person to be served by the mind. And when there is no person to be served by the mind, mind finishes off. That is the death of the mind. When you don't give task, these are the tasks which we give to mind. I like this person, I dislike this person, he did this to me, I will do this to him, I will plan this way I'll get money, this way I will take away money from others. You know, all this mind does. But if you have no interest in anything, there is no individual who is serving any purpose to the body mind, then the mind has no work to do. Mind has to disappear. Mind will be lost. First, it will come with a vengeance on you. It will hit you hard. It will disturb your sleep. It will try to pull you. That is the time when this satsang is good. Company of people who are on this path is good. Teachings are good. Japa is good. Prayer is good. And once you pass that phase, when that strong pull is causing suffering within, this thing is going on, cyclone inside. Once you pass through it, everyone goes through it. There are very rare species who don't go through it. Maybe they must have gone in the past. And then the victory is certain. Then you can win over mind. But you stick to your guns. You stay there in your heart. You don't move. Whatever comes, whatever happens, you stay firm. I'll tell you, all the sage, they look soft, but they are very strong. They are very strong. That strength only is known only when the time comes, when the crisis comes. Otherwise, they look very soft and supple. But because that strength is that absolute strength, which no one can move. You can move mountains, but you can't move that strength. That comes from that pure seeing. And that pure seeing is inviting all of us. It is there only. But we have made ourselves so little, so small in that ego mode. We are like, when you are the king, when you are ruling everything, you are taking help of this petty thief called as mind, You're dependent on it for small things. For what? For this body. And how long this body will last? It is dying every day. It is dying. The moment it is born to die only. And we have gone through thousands of bodies like this. And we, the fool, we try to pamper this body. The body wants ice cream. We travel 30 kilometers to get that ice cream. Then body wants something. We don't care. We break all the boundaries and we do sexual exploitations. For this body which is going to turn into dust, the body asks, and we are slave of this body. Tell me, whatever you do, why you do, for whom you do. Do you do for your awareness? Awareness asks you to do all the wrong things in the world. That formless, nameless awareness asks you to do all the wrong things. It is you do for the body only. I tell you about a person who was in his 80s. And he said, "Oh, Sanjay, I am also vegetarian. Oh, good to know that you are vegetarian." I said, "That's good. So you were always vegetarian?" He said, No, all the tooths are broken and the denture can't fit, so I can't eat meat now. So I'm vegetarian now. What is this, Like when the body has given up, but desires are not going out, Desires are not going out. There is no age when the desires end. I think desires you can end early in life rather than later, because then man is a creature of habits, If you are carrying those habits for so long of indulgence, even when the body can't indulge in those sensory pleasures, still it desires. And that's why you get another body then, next birth, to fulfill those stupid desires. Body after body. And you are completely lost. Just think why we are doing what we are doing. For whom? Some people will say, "No, I'm not doing anything wrong for myself. I'm doing for my family." But ask your family, do they want all that wrong things to be done for your family? I think they will all say no. Valmiki, who wrote Ramayana, he was a dacoit. And he used to kill people for money. And then someone asked, "Why are you doing?" He said, "I'm doing for my family." He said, "Go and ask your family. Will they take all the bad karmas you're doing for your family?" He went to his family. Family said, "No. Your duty is to feed us. Wherever you get money from, we don't care." And he became from dacoit to a sage. He changed. And we all the sage is sitting in us to come out. And we are serving body. From today onwards, if we start serving God within, we are all sage in making. You know, they say that every devil has sage as its future, and every sage has devil as its past. Because you start somewhere and then you improve. Because we all serve this body, this filthy body, full of filth, you know. We think we have to serve this. Who has given us, who has told us to serve this body? Why we serve this body? Why can't we serve that God within? And how to serve? The easiest and best ways to serve is to be that only. That's all. Things come, things goes. Things entices, sensory organs travel outside. They are looking for some pull from old habits. Just watch it. You have to watch it because, look, it is like de-addiction. If you are addicted to something, ask anyone who is addicted to anything how difficult it is to detach. Now we are addicted with this body for many births. So it is a de-addiction plan. Spirituality is all about de-addiction. Addicted with this body, now we have to detach. Just watch how things are going. And what the gift you get at the end is amazing. This bliss and contentment and joy and peace is okay. But you get rid of this coming and going, this drama of going back into the womb and coming out of the womb and then growing and then studying in school. You know, this is all a big drama. Very hard, you know. Ask kids who are preparing for year 12, you know. How difficult to study, you know. And then you become something and then you become more stupid, you know, after studying. It's a big non-ending thing, you know. You keep going. The whole world is going through this. And the moment you understand, the moment you become a devotee of the awareness rather than the body, you are free in this birth, but then you are free forever. Free from this illusion forever. This is the eternal gift you get. And who gives you this gift? That awareness only, which you are. This role playing finishes forever. I will say the simplest thing is, whatever the body is looking for, just watch it and stop serving it. Stop serving it. Don't be a slave of your body. Body is insentient. Body is not asking anything. Do you think tongue asks for food that I want to taste? No, tongue doesn't ask. Then who asks? This entity in us which thinks that he is the body mind and he has to serve, and he thinks he has to serve this. You know, when Bhagwan was served anything, good food, when Bhagwan was served anything, he used to mix everything together, make a mumbo jumbo, you know, and mix. And people used to get irritated, you know, someone has made gulab jamun, someone has made some other dessert, or he will just mix up everything and eat together. And they said, look, I gave you Bhagwan to taste, and if someone brings something, he will distribute to all. Even his medicines he used to distribute to everyone. People used to say, you eat this, this is good for joints. He will say, then it will be good for everyone's joints. So everyone should have it. So this is the thing, you know, we are serving only this body. If you really want to serve body, then serve everyone's body. That is also good. Don't just keep serving yourself. This one mistake is costing us birth and death and birth and death. Just one mistake, that we are serving this body mind. People are getting their so many jobs on their face. They lose hair, they put more hairs, they make nose sharp and plastic surgeons. You know, doctors are getting richer and richer. We stupid, we keep investing on the body, you know. Body is a vehicle to know who you are. That's all. And to finish the game now. Otherwise, it will take you to hell. If If you keep serving the body, you will go to hell. But if you serve absolute, you will become absolute. So that is your choice. And that is the only choice we have. If you see, that is what, how the life is going to unfold is not in my hand or your hand, but choice is in our hand. To serve God within or to serve body. That choice is ours. And the fruits of both serving will be different. So it depends which you are interested in. I am giving you a very logical thing. I am not talking anything nonsense to you. But I really want to convince you at this stage that serving body serves no purpose. And serving the God within serves all the purposes. It serves all the purposes, because what is the purpose of life for all of us is happiness. Start serving the God within, awareness, your pure self, your consciousness, and see the fruit. And keep serving your body, see what will happen. You will not believe, I have seen sages who lives to 100+ years, they never serve their body. Some of them eat nonsense, whatever given they will eat. If food comes, they will eat. Don't think that what you eat prolongs your life or keeps you healthy. It is just a misconception. All the time there are examples who indulge and eat some nonsense and they live longer, and people who everything right and right quantity and exercise and gym, and they flat, die before they touch 50. No logic. That's why science becomes baffled, health medicine. Every day there is one thing is best for you, and after 5 years, no, this is worst for you. And it keeps going on and on and on and on. How many diets, you go? How many types of diets people practice? Hundreds of types of diets. Nowadays, you go to shopping mall, how many types of milk? 50 different types of milk, pure toned, double toned, lactose free, this free, that added, vitamin D, I don't know. So many things. Because this is all being decided. How long our body has to live. Now what that body does, and then you compare the notes, it's all, science can't prove it,
In the same shloka of Shankara, he says, Swadvannam natu yatsyatam vidivashat praptena santushyatam. Don't hang after delicious food, but be contented with whatever comes in your way. So don't go and ask your wife, may prepare this, prepare that. Whatever she deserves, just take it.
That's true. Beggars are not choosers, If you don't know how to cook, whatever she is giving, take it with folded hands. Actually, it is not that difficult once you know. It is only difficult till you don't know what is the path and how to achieve it and what to look for, what not to look for. So the moment you understand the truth behind the whole gamut of things, what spirituality is, it is not just prayer for 1 hour, or it is to devote your life to that pure awareness. Morning you wake up till you go to bed, and do whatever it takes you to reach there. Because for some people, an image can be useful. For some people, just paying attention to awareness can be useful. For some sort of japa can be useful. Everything is fine. For some, a devotional bhajan can be useful. For someone wants to do everything. That is also good. Whatever way, whatever, you take taxi, you take bus, you take cycle, you run, but reach the peak. Whatever way, but don't stop. And rather than stopping is still okay, but don't walk backward. Don't go back into that ego mode. serving the body. We have served the body. We have given so much of comfort to the body. I think it's more than enough now. To be serious. I will call it utmost seriousness to know the truth. Don't just keep living life for bodily comfort, You can give all the comforts to the body, all the best places you can see from these eyes. Take a world tour of all the best places, eat best food. At the end, what Nilakanta ji is saying, what the shloka said, it will be finished, it was no use. Only time which is useful is what you have spent as awareness, to be aware. That will help you if you don't finish the task in this birth. But I don't think we should take it through next birth, Just finish it. I will say not even to next day. Have that fire. Bring all that energy to just finish it now. Don't take it even to the next moment. Because when you go and talk to people, everyone is just talking about me, and me, That makes no sense. And you also start saying me, when you meet these people. It is useless talk all the time, My life, it happened to me, I'm the best person in the world. Everyone around me is, people are not nice and all that stuff. The characters in the stories changes, but every story is same. Every human story is same. Just burn all these stories. Just stay as awareness. First, burn your own house. Then you will have fun. Burn your own house and then it will be fun. Then just stay as awareness, as naked. No interest. What someone can take from awareness? Nothing. Nothing can touch you. People look for reasons to live, purpose of life, meaning of life, power of mind. So many things, concepts over concepts. What is the necessity today's man, what we have done or we have not done. We all have responsibility to fix ourselves and see how beautiful the world would be. Rather than changing others. We are not reformers. We are self-reformers. Reform yourself, that's all. And you've done whatever means, it is good. And never take yourself, never have a doubt that you can't do it. If you see the history, all the people who have done it, they started maybe much negative than you. But it is their intense desire for freedom, their intense longing, and they changed everything in one generation, in a few years. If you see Nisargadatta Maharaj, who was living in Bombay, he was living a normal life. He was a bidi seller, cigarette shop, small cigarette shop, illiterate man. And once he decided to stay as awareness, he used the mantra Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. That's all. He said, I kept reminding myself throughout the day, serving customers, Aham Brahmasmi. No, not serving customers, Aham Brahmasmi. Working at home, having food all the time. And it took him 3 years. But he had complete faith in his Guru, who told him that you are not this body mind. You are Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi. Remember this. And he kept remembering it in a very crude way, saying Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahma. That worked. And it is not difficult. The only thing is that your attention is not on it. The moment, if your attention is on it, you are free. That moment you free. The moment you stay as awareness, you are free. Then all the task is how much, I don't know, garbage is in the mind which is pulling you. But if you stay that and let it do what it has, and that is also your karni, also you have created all that in your mind. You have to see that it will disturb you for a while because you have collected all that noise in your mind. It will go away. Don't worry. You stay as awareness. But please don't put more garbage in mind. That's what I would say. Don't again go on that path of collecting all these toys in the world. Then on one hand you are clearing it, the other hand you are putting it. Then it will never end. It is very easy. Wherever you are, whatever you are doing or not doing, whether you're retired, in a job, married, unmarried, living in wherever country, religion, no religion, atheist, doesn't matter. Start there, but once you start, then don't give up till you finish. Till you finish this all nonsense. So it is doable for every human being, wherever they are. But stay on the path, stick to the path. Don't go out and then have some more, garbage collection and then thinking now how can I get rid of it. Some people do it. They come on a spiritual path and for 5, 10, 20, 15, 20 years they get lost. And then they say, oh, I was a member of ISKCON. I used to do prayer. I used to have a jata. I was almost sannyasi. But then I thought I will do other things and then I'll come back. What a nonsense, If you were that smart that early, then you should have finished it, Then you come back again and they never come back again. So this is the thing. If you understand what the truth is and you know path to attain the truth, and then you don't do it, then you are the most foolish person then. Because you know everything. You know what is right. You know how to do it. You have read from the cookery book how to make it. Now you're not making it. Then how will you taste it? Do it. Finish it. And then it will be so beautiful, isn't it? When you pass this exam and you come and we talk, it will be so nice, isn't it? It's not something like you go out and you say, I've made it. This I have made it will disappear. That will not be there. Nothing will be there. But for nothing to be there, you pay attention to the pure awareness. Give that space to that awareness to manifest through this body, through this pure mind, through the calm mind. This calm mind, this still mind will reflect that pure awareness. Not for 1 second or 1 minute. All your life. Whatever happens in life, it will keep shining, reflecting. And once attained, it goes more deeper and deeper. It is something you have opened an infinite joy, box of infinite joy. It keeps adding to it. It keeps unfolding. It is like you are having shower from inside. I will tell you, if you love perfumes, fragrances, I will say you stop using fragrances. When you touch your heart, the whole body is full of fragrance of that pure divinity. So many saint sages, they don't even have a shower for years. Because it washes everything. All the smell in human body is the smell of ego only. Nothing else. The moment you give up this ego, Nothing is left. The body, it is like you are like a bud, and when you become a flower, you blossom. And everyone blossoms in a different way. The enlightenment, or you can call realization, or whatever you call it, or it comes in a different way for everyone. Because everyone has a different way of unfolding things, but it will come. It has to come. There's no choice. You don't give any choice to awareness not to come. You clean your room, speck clean, so you invite awareness to be there. You pay attention to awareness only. You give up all attention to the body. Why not awareness will come? Awareness is also waiting to come. Awareness is waiting eagerly to come in all of us, to unfold in us. But we pay attention to the body. That's why make a space for it. Make this temple clean, empty. And then see what it will do. It will do all miracles in its own way in each body. But stay in your seeing and don't move. Whatever comes, whatever happens, don't move. Let mind create doubts or no doubts or still or restless, doesn't matter. Mind doesn't matter. Don't mind your mind, okay? All the time listen to your own silence. This silence is bliss. Pay attention to the silence rather than to thoughts. If thoughts are coming, let them come, but just pay attention to the silence. Be just like awareness. When you stay as awareness, you have no idea about the body also, most of the time. Unless there is pain, unless there is something happening to that part. Usually also we don't have an idea, but we are more attached to this idea that I'm body and I have to do this to look like this or look like that. All these concepts. But when you stay in your awareness mode, that unfolding starts happening at that moment only. You don't have to worry about the mind and how to get rid of the mind. You just pay attention to awareness. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjay.
Thank you, everyone.